First of all, let's give a hand to Jenny and Nathan for welcoming us into their home for a party. You know, a couple, and you don't have to rush off, it's fine. A couple of things I want to recap before you all leave that I thought was really great, because there were some really great learnings that Jenny and Nathan and many of you have brought to us since we launched. But I want to make sure that you noticed when Jenny and Nathan brought out the actual application forms, what they actually did, what they accomplished by doing that was they were able to distinguish who the customers were. That's what I've learned from you. So by bringing out the application before they showed part 2 of the DVD, they had a sense of who was interested in being more of a customer, because they were using the application form as a great reference. So that was a great technique, I thought, that you did as well. And then the way you set up the DVDs was fabulous. And then the end is so important. What we learned is it's not a close. So get the whole word close and the idea close out of your mind, because it sounds so, definite and so close. This is all about commitment in the beginning of a relationship. So what I loved also about what Jenny and Nathan did is during the social, when they were getting to know their guests, they found out what's on their agenda. Are you interested in tell me about how you feel. I mean, some people were interested in losing weight. We know who that was, of course. Some people were interested in just maintaining their energy and having more energy and being healthy. And others were interested in using the products and getting them for free or earning. So I think it's really important at the end. What you're basically doing is you're matching their goal to the appropriate kit. So they may just want to use the product and be a customer. They may want to share the product, right, and get their products for free, which would be 3 for free, or they might want to become a specialist. Don't lose the opportunity. I think, who is interested in being a specialist? Can we see a couple of hands? And what were you doing there with your, if you don't mind? Do you have a mic on? Here, let me borrow. Maybe you can explain what you're all doing. Great.
Yeah, well, my idea, I'm obviously interested in being a specialist, and so what we were going to do was take pictures of the products and just post out to all our friends, what we wanted to do with it, and encourage people to join us on our journey and come with us and really be 180 specialists and bring people along with us, because it's always more fun when you got partners to do it with. So,
That's great. So we're going to go ahead now and take pictures of everything that we saw up here, and in fact we already did that, to show that this is the journey we're going to take. And it basically states in here, we want someone to come along with us and do this with us. And you'll see we just posted it. And this is on our Instagram account if you did follow that. And it tags also to our Facebook. And it says hashtag Shaklee180, hashtag Shaklee Turnaround, and hashtag Shaklee Live. So we're able now to connect to everybody in our network and let them know what we're starting to do, so maybe they can join us.
And I promise you in the future we'll spend more time on social media and learning the little tips if you're not that familiar with how to do it. But what Ashley and Jake are doing right now is they're so enthused about being a specialist, they're actually starting to create the momentum already. So they're taking photos at the party that they're at, they're posting them, they're letting their friends know what they just experienced and about the new journey that they're about to embark on, and they're really creating interest. So I think that's absolutely fabulous. And without any further ado, I'm just going to again thank everybody for letting us join us at the party, and certainly, absolutely. Actually, I might have you guys go that way if you don't mind. Thank you. Thank you. Because we have our next group coming up, if I may ask. What we'd like to do right now, thank you everybody, as he takes one last bite before he leaves the table. And I will tell you, the reason for the exaggeration was to drive the point that you don't need to be perfect and you don't need to be at your optimum weight before you start talking about the transformation process and Shaklee180. So I hope you appreciated the visual and the exaggeration there and had a sense of humor with it. But we just really wanted to drive that point home because we had heard that that was a concern. And now I'm joined by 4 superstars. We have a lovely panel up here of 4 superstars, and I say that because they have been very successful. They're our highest ranking business builders when it comes to 3 for free parties. So you don't really need to hear from me, you need to hear from the experts. And we're going to start off right now by talking about 3 for free parties. So let me just advance. Okay. You know, we know that it's all about the power of 3 for free, and we recognize that what's happening with 3 for free is that, first of all, the whole journey is about doing it with your friends. You're more successful when you take this journey with your friends, as we know. And what we're learning about 3 for free, it's almost a machine for gathering customers and keeping the momentum of bringing in new customers. So it's become a very powerful, powerful vehicle. So again, we have our lovely panel here. And I'd like to start off by introducing a lady that I have just gotten to know very well, our Senior Director, and I might add, Shaklee180 Specialist, Tammy Taylor-Woolyard, who's basically going to share with you her tips for 3 for free parties.
Thanks, Elena. Hi, how are you? Is anybody overwhelmed? Elena actually called me several weeks ago, and I didn't recognize the number on my phone, so I'm like, I'm not going to answer that. So the next day, I'm actually listening to my voicemail, and someone from Shaklee Corporate has called my cell phone. So I'm a little overwhelmed myself that I'm here, but I'm thrilled. I was sitting back there listening to everything you've listened to, and I'm a website designer, and I got somewhat overwhelmed. So I want to just encourage you that the process that I've gone through, I believe, is very duplicatable. I'm number one in the country for helping people get their Shaklee180 for free. That's why Elena was calling me. And I was at a church event that day, and I forgot what I was supposed to tell everybody. I'm like, Shaklee called me, and I'm going to be speaking. When I started this, I did not have a plan. I was just simply sharing my life on Facebook. Facebook has been a tremendous tool, and if you're overwhelmed about Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, I'm still trying to figure out Twitter. Facebook is where everybody can start, and even some of the older members of our audience, if you are not familiar with Facebook, get your children or your grandchildren to help you. They will be happy to. This all started, one of the first things you can do to have a successful 3 for free is to start posting your own turnaround. So I think there's some pictures. Oh, yes. Thanks to can we go back to the first one? Thanks to my lovely friend Donna, that beautiful first picture was saved for all of you to see today because I had deleted all those pictures off of my cell phone. But Donna posted that very first picture on Facebook and challenged me to show some better pictures because she knew I had lost weight. So that's kind of how it started. When you start talking to your friends and they commit to do a 180, be sure that you get their before picture because they're not going to want to take a before picture. So be sure and get that for you. Now, another thing I'd like to encourage you to do is if you don't have a turnaround story yet, you can use mine. You can use anybody in the organization who has a turnaround story. Just friend me on Facebook, Tammy Taylor-Woolyard. You can snag this right off of my Facebook page and said, look, I heard this lady speak in Nashville, and this is what happened to her, and I believe it can happen for you. So please, you're welcome to do that. Also, friend other Shaklee180 people, and you can share your photos back and forth, and you're a great resource. The next thing is accountability. The way I got started with the 3 for free, my sister is a breast cancer survivor. She had to move back in with my parents because of finances and medical bills. And the medication that they gave her for cancer caused her to gain quite a bit of weight. And cancer survivors have a much better quality of life and length of life if they can get some of that weight off. So the very first person, other than myself and my daughter, that I wanted to get 3 for free was my sister. So I had been posting my own pictures, and my sister and I are complete opposites. So when people in my community saw that it had not only worked for me, but it was working for my sister, who was my biggest skeptic, I posted her before and after picture on Facebook, and I got 70 responses within the hour. So people use Facebook. So anyway, after all these people saw my sister's story and then mine, all of a sudden, I could not keep up with my emails, my Facebook, my phone ringing off the hook. So I had all these people who wanted to lose weight. So, my income and my bottom line is based on their success. So I'm like, well, whenever you've struggled with your weight, you know that it's more than about what you put in your mouth. It's also what's going on between your ears. So I decided I would meet with them every week, and I would encourage them as best I could. Now, I'm not a trainer. I'm just, regular lady who struggled with her weight all her life. So we meet every Monday at a gym, and I wasn't even a member of the gym. The lady was just real nice and said, yeah, I like what you're doing. I'll help you. I joined the gym later. So I met every Monday night. I had one of my first turnaround parties at the gym. 8 people came. You don't have to have 35. 2 is worth having. So we had 8 people come. All of them signed up. Every single one of them signed up. I said, okay, be here Monday, 7 o'clock, weigh and measure. That's real important because you've said this 50 million times. My daughter, who's here today, can do this presentation as well as I can, but they're hearing it for the first time. They don't know what kind of milk to drink. They don't know, there's all kinds of things that they need encouragement about. So anyway, what I do is after every weigh-in, I post something positive on Facebook. Now, I don't say so-and-so started at 300 pounds and now she's 298. I say so-and-so lost 2 pounds and maybe 3 inches. And the next thing is I don't sell this stuff. I share it. So if we go to the next slide, keep it very light. One of the photos, this is not a pretty photo, right? My sister keeps saying, you've got to quit putting these goofy pictures on Facebook. But I got so many responses from this one photo. This is a belt that my father had already drilled 6 holes in. And I went to put it on one day to go meet with a customer, and it was hanging way down here. So I'm like, look at this. I went and got another belt. It was hanging way down here. I'm like, this is so cool. And they were goofy photos, but they were real. And so I got a lot of response from this. So I don't always say, who wants to join me in a 180? But I always give 180 credit for the weight loss. So almost every time I'm helping someone else get theirs for free, I put their link to their 180 site, and then people can get more information. These before and after pictures work. So if all you do is say, I have a friend, she's done this, and put these before and after pictures, that's all they need to see. They're an incredible testimony. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tammy. Thank you. Our next guest speaker is Shaklee specialist Nareda Reyes, and I'm going to give you the microphone. But I have to tell her, when I called Nareda and we spoke about how she's successful, she said, well, who doesn't like to get anything for free? That's your secret.
Yeah, and thank you, Elena, for calling me, because I'm from New York. And who's from New York here? Those are part of my group, my upline. And just because I'm sharing, I'm here. If I wouldn't share with you, I wouldn't been here either. And I have a big journey with Shaklee. And my transformation started back in September, when I had no idea what Shaklee was all about. Being the fact that I work in a healthcare facility, I only knew Shaklee because of the vitamin sales. And due to a nurse who worked with me, he introduced me the product with a catalog, and I said, let me give it a try. So in September, I did start my program, and exactly 90 days, the changes were noticeable. My family, my friends, co-worker, start asking me what I was doing. So I started sharing the Shaklee experience and the benefits, because it's not just losing weight, it's getting healthier. Then in January, and exactly again 90 days, so Shaklee does comply with what his promises are. I started sponsoring people, and by sharing my story, I started creating brochures. And within that same month of January, due to my sponsoring numbers, I was promoted to director within 30 days.
How do you like that?
And my philosophy is sharing is caring. Why not sharing health? Because it's hard to share health. because you own health, as we've been saying here, and that's for sure. We can move on. I transitioned into the lean and healthy. I have accountability. Again, family, friends start asking me what I was doing, so I started sharing my story all over. And I'm not too good with Facebook just until recently, because I use what I know, what to do, sharing with others, talking, educating them, making phone calls. I use my brochures. Oh, yes. But my key factor is being honest, be accountable. My slide. And we cannot underestimate anyone, because we have to believe in ourselves and be patient, because it does happen. It happened to me, it can happen to anybody.
And just keep things moving along, I'd like to introduce you Devin Klein, Senior Coordinator and Shaklee180 Specialist, and Devin also has a lot of great tips to share.
Yeah, clap a little bit, huh? So I was really moved when Roger made his opening statements on Thursday morning, and he talked about the power of one and the Shaklee effect. Who else was really moved by that? Anybody? Everybody? Yeah. It was great. And it brought a story to my mind. Last year when we were at conference in Vegas, I heard Miss Jackie McCoy speak on stage. And if those of you who don't know who I am, I'm a personal trainer from Charlotte. And I have a lot of clients, and I immediately thought of one lady who really, really needed help. She was 376 pounds at the time, and she had just recently come into one of my boot camp facilities and reached out to me for some help. I am proud to say that 12 months later, as of 2 weeks from now, she is down 185 pounds. Yeah. And so, yes, I have passion for people, and yes, the passion is there, but I'm a marketing mind, and given that you have the passion, the only way that you make a better life for yourself is by selling that passion. And Brandy was so grateful that I had helped her, and that I'd gone out of my way to do, all these things for her, 2 extra workouts a week. She was on obviously the Shaklee180 turnaround kit the whole time. Didn't miss a month, and I got this sense that she had a loyalty to me. And what I really want you to take from my presentation today is that the people that you help do have that sense of loyalty. They want to help you back. And the way that I addressed her, I said, look, you can help me. I want you to help me. You want to help me? I would love your help. The way that you can help me is by going out and bringing 3 of your friends into my next party. And that notion right there is just so powerful, because they do have that loyalty to want to help you. And everybody in this room has somebody that they've helped, and you have that power too. You just have to, sometimes the 3 for free might get lost in all the other stuff that we have going on with the 180. But if you almost make it a condition of doing business with you, a condition of joining your program, a condition of being around you and being a part of what you have to offer, then they're much more likely, to go out and make that happen for you. So the next thing I want to kind of talk about is like I said, I'm a marketing mind. So my whole operation is pre-planned. Everything that I have, every party that I have is pre-planned. I plan one 30, 60, 90 days out at a time. And I take people like Brandy, people that I've helped, and I almost create a referral army of people, of people that I've helped. They all know that the best way that they can show satisfaction, or the best way that they can show appreciation and support from me is to help my business grow, and that I would be thankful for that. So whether you have one person or you have 50, 60 people, it compounds over time. And Roger talks about this, the growth engine of Shaklee. Well, the 3 for 3 parties are your individual growth engine. And it's really important to know that people that you help want to help you. And so if you're conditioning them to go out and almost be your marketers, you can sit back and focus on the things that we talked about in the social media portion, where you're on Facebook doing your own self-marketing, and then you take the referral army that you build with your clients, you take the Facebook stuff that you do, you combine those together, and they force multiply, and that's how you compound your growth. I also, Nathan, you are hilarious, by the way. I'm friends with Nathan Oates and Jenny, and just to see him up here, I was just going to talk about a little bit about dressing your party up, just setting the stage. Real estate agents will set their stage for their homes when when you go to see a house, you're going to see these oak tables and the purple pictures on the wall and this whole house, and it probably looks way better than it will ever look when you move in. But part of it is setting that stage, and I was going to say, the reason I bring up Nathan, I was going to say, go in and like have a good dress on, look sexy, do your hair, do your makeup. Nathan obviously thinks that these little shorts are sexy. I think they're sexy too, buddy. I do. So you just dress your party up. And lastly, the last thing I want to talk about is believe in the products and be true to what they are all about. It's your job to create this energy, create this buzz around your parties. And when you do that, and when you're true to yourself and you're true to the products, the products will they'll sell themselves. As long as you create this energy, you create this buzz. People that are going to come in. Look how powerful this is. There's 4,000 people in this room. Imagine if there was 10 people. It wouldn't be as powerful. Roger's statements would not have been as powerful as if there was 10 people in the room. There was 6,000, so it makes it like an awesome experience for us all to walk in there and to hear that. So take what we do at conference and take the same concepts and then bring them in and build them into your Shaklee 3 for free parties and your turnaround parties.
I want to thank Devin, because that's what he said to me. It's all about the products, and that's the most important thing, is it's all about the products, and make sure your enthusiasm and passion for that is conveyed. So thank you. Our next guest speaker is Allison, also from the great state of New York. Okay? And I think Jeannie Tavell made reference to Allison earlier, and she became director, and she's our Shaklee180 specialist, who's just going to take us through a very quick success on what you did for...
Good morning. Thank you. I think the two most important things that I learned at that first party that Jeannie talked about that I had that night with 31 people at my house was the fact that everyone wants something for free. How many of you went to the free tables in the Shaklee store and picked those things up first? And we also know people that want to lose weight. So I don't think we're ever going to lose the ability to find people to fill these parties. So I'm going to take the final moments here to give you some information and some tips on how to have a very successful party. Yeah, you got the clicker. All right. So I think that we're very fortunate in the fact that Shaklee gave us the name Turnaround Party. They could have called it a turnaround workshop. They could have called it a turnaround meeting, but they called it a party. And if in Webster's dictionary, a party is actually a social gathering with invited guests, typically involving eating, drinking, and entertainment. So what they've also provided us with is food, the bars, the smoothies, and of course the DVDs, the entertainment. So if you can go out and make a list of everyone that you know, literally everyone that you know. My first party that night, I invited all my family, my friends, and my neighbors. And I actually invited around 80 people. 31 showed up, and I had enough in that one night to become a director in one night, actually. I sold enough kits to become a director in one night. So you have to make your list. Thank you. We talked a little bit about that gift, and as I mentioned, everyone wants something for free. So besides the gift that I give out, if people choose to host a 3 for free party that evening, I've also been known to give out little extras a packet of raw cacao or some chia seeds or flax seeds or things that might be additions to put into your smoothie if someone brings a friend to the party. So that's a little tip if you'd like to give out something else for free and get people into the mindset of getting things for free. Pre-party planning, I have a team. I have a wonderful team of uplines that help me at every party. If you don't have a team for yourself, you need to engage or enlist your family or your kids, because everyone should have a job. Everybody should have a part in the party. People should be responsible for setting up the living room, getting everything ready. Somebody should be in the kitchen making smoothies, and then just getting ready for the party in itself takes some setup. And my team came up with the idea of the clipboards. I know that they use them up here tonight. We actually get the clipboards set up. We have the customer application. On top of that, we have like a basic form that's got people's name, email, address, and any health concerns they might have, phone number, so that when they leave the party, we know how we can follow up with them. And then, of course, we display the products and the bars. And I also do theme parties. I think Devin had a little bit of mention this about having a theme. We've done crazy parties. We've done luau's. We've used pina colada as our smoothie that night. But most importantly, I've always made the parties very elegant. I went to Costco and bought myself a box of fluted champagne glasses for like $19.99. I always serve the smoothies in a champagne glass. I also will display the bars on a plate. And I noticed that when people walk around, originally I was saying, well, this one's the blueberry almond, or this one is the peanut butter chocolate chip. And then I got smart, and I went to Staples, and I bought the little name cards that you use for a wedding, the little white tent cards, and I labeled the bars. So I didn't have to tell people. People could actually walk up to the table and know that they were getting the blueberry almond or whatever flavor it was. So I labeled out the display bars. Okay, all right. And then lastly, some people are a little afraid to have a party. So when you're encouraging them to have a party in their home, if they really don't think they can do it, even though you've made it as simple as possible, I always offer to use my home. I've got a master list now with everything that needs to be done, right down to cleaning the bathroom, so that I know exactly what I need to do that day of the party to get everything set up. So I think it's very important if you offer your home again, because people have been there, they felt comfortable. So if they don't want to do it, offer your place to have the party.
So I'm going to borrow your mic and use it with you, and you're going to stay right here, because I was so impressed with many of the things that Allison was telling me. But presentation is everything. And, you can theme your party when you were saying sometimes you do Caribbean or you do, whatever the theme is. But have things organized. And I love the idea of little tent cards to label what the products are. So you're educating as well. So I thought so much of that was great. And then I also loved what Allison said about take it on the road. If they don't want to come to you, then you go.
We go to them.
We go to them.
We have it down pat. Get your team, get your family, whoever's coming with you, get your master schedule, and take your party on the road, or offer to have it in your own home for them.
So I want to thank our top producers of 3 for Free parties. Their PowerPoints will be available to you, but most of all, they're also available to you live and in person to answer any questions. So thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Great. Thank you. Okay, you ready to continue partying? I think you might need to just smile for good energy. How's that? We talked about that earlier. And turn around and shake the person's hand next to you and say hello while Laura Evans gets ready to come on out and talk to us about after party and follow-up. Don't go anywhere. Just shake the person's hand next to you.
All right. Okay. All right. Once we get everybody talking, it's hard to stop. All right. Okay, guys, we're on the final stretch here.
15 or 20 minutes.
Let's get started. All right, let's get started. Thank you very much. I want to get you guys out of here. Me and this next segment are the only thing that stands in between you and lunch, and I understand how important that is. So I want to get you out of here also so you can make it to the general session on time at 2:30 this afternoon. So we're going to go through the after party. We've talked about the pre-party, the party, how to do 3 for Free parties, and we're going to talk a little bit about the after party. right now. One of the things I want to cover with you quickly is, of course, as you know, Shaklee180 is all about helping that person take their shape in a whole new direction. 90 days to lose the weight, and that's important because we want customers that are happy and satisfied who fall in love with Shaklee as much as we fell in love with Shaklee. Again, I mentioned earlier, our research shows that 43% of your customers who ordered Shaklee180 canceled, or I'm sorry, of the people that canceled or didn't reorder, 43% of them said that they never received a follow-up call. Now, that could happen because we get busy. So we're going to talk a little bit about how important it is to follow up. 72% of that group said they would have reordered something had they received a call checking on them and helping to answer some of their questions. So, the customer comes first. One of the reasons this program is effective and one of the reasons we've been around for 57 years is because our products work when people use the products. The products don't work when they sit on the shelf. So it's important for you to follow up with them and be successful. We want to help you be successful in that focus and support. The customer's weight loss success is our first priority, and the first 30 days is really critical. So I'm going to bring up a couple of special guests to help me talk with you about what to do in the first 30 days. We've got Dr. Jamie McManus joining me on stage. And we also have the lovely Miss Jackie McCoy. Jackie? You guys. Now, I'm going to start off with Dr. Jamie, because I know that there's a few questions that you encounter that sometimes may be an obstacle or an objection that you encounter to ordering the products or using the products, and they need to know more information about that. One of those questions is, for example, can I use these products if I'm diabetic?
And the answer to that, as you all know, is absolutely yes. In fact, not only is it a good idea for diabetics, it's the very best thing in the world they could possibly do is to get their weight under control, decrease their caloric intake, and do it with the right kind of products. So a lot of times you'll have a question about, oh my gosh, it has this many grams of sugar. That's way too much. I can't have that much in a whole week.
And I love it when a doctor leads answering these questions with yes, and then is able to reassure them with a statement. I use that a lot when I get those questions. Start with yes, and then reassure them. The next question is, if I'm taking medications, am I able to use this program?
Absolutely yes. Great answer, right? I'm giving Laura only the answer she wants. Just one more comment about the diabetics. So when people talk about the grams of sugar and focus on that, focus them instead on low glycemic. And what low glycemic is, it's on all the packaging, so if you forget, just got to read the packaging. Low glycemic means it does not have a negative impact on the blood sugar, or meaning it doesn't raise the blood sugar. And for diabetics, as they lose weight, their blood sugar will improve. So it's all about losing weight. We're going to help people lose weight the right way, but weight loss itself is going to help lower the blood sugar and help people potentially even reverse their diabetes. So, as for medication, the answer there is yes as well. And again, read the box. If there was a caution about medication, we would put it on the label, which the only thing we have is on the metabolic boost related to blood thinners, and that's because of the green tea extract. Doesn't mean they can't use it, just means the doctor just has to check their bleeding time and make some little adjustments. But the program can absolutely be used with medications as well.
And Jamie, one of the last questions that we run into a lot is, how do you handle when somebody says, can I use this program? I'm allergic to soy.
Right. Anybody out there had that question? Okay. So we have a couple of things underway to help you tell the soy story, because for one thing, we could spend the next half hour talking about soy, which we're not going to do, but we want to provide you support for answering those questions, because some people think they can't use soy because of health reasons or because they've just heard that soy is bad for them. So we're in the process of creating a brochure. I thought it would be ready to launch at convention, but it'll be in the next year. So it'll be ready I've been told it'll be ready by the end of August, and that's going to be very hard-hitting, giving you the information to help tell all the good story and the good benefits and the dispelling the myths about soy. So that's great. But again, we have the answer yes right now, because we have our great Shaklee180 whey smoothies that are in the wizard and can be a part of the kits and part of the turnaround, so that you got an answer for everyone.
That's right. That's right. I just want to make sure you all
say
know
that again, because they're not excited enough about
we
that.
have, when you go in to order a turnaround kit or a lean and healthy kit, where your flavor choices are for your smoothies, you can now choose the whey as a flavor.
The answer is yes, always.
And I'm going to tell you, and there's no additional charge for that. It's in there. Even though it is more expensive for us to make, we wanted to get it out there for you as quickly as possible. There may be some time in the future where we're going to have to adjust that because it is way more expensive, but we wanted to be able to get that out there for you. So okay, thank you, Dr. Jamie. Jackie, I want to talk to you a little bit. We've had some wonderful conversations. You have been obviously attracting people to Shaklee180 and getting folks started on the program. Tell everybody a little bit about what your follow-up process is. You've got a process that you've developed of touching base with that person right away. Tell everybody a little bit about that.
Okay, well, you guys call it follow-up, and I really kept thinking of it as support, and because we all need support, and that's what makes this program different. The products work, but how do we get people to stick to the program? Because if they stick to the program, they're going to get the results, they're going to feel better, and they're going to keep going. But I started to think, what were my pitfalls? Like, when did I stop feeling really motivated, or when did something happen that would derail me, and what would I do? And usually I was doing something on my own, no support. So as soon as I hit something that wasn't easy, I was just done, and that's why I never got anywhere. So I want to, call them as soon as they order the kit. I work with a lot of people that are not local, so if you have a party, they might be ordering the kit like right there, so you can just talk to them right then. But if it's somebody from a different state, and as soon as they order the kit, I call them, and I'm excited, and I talk to them, and I get them ready for when they receive the kit. And when they receive the kit, I call them, and I'm like, when are you going to start? What day are you starting? You should start tomorrow, even if it's like Thursday. They all want to start Monday, but you should just start whatever day you get it. And so I say, what day are you going to start? And I make sure that on that day, I text or I call or I say something, because they're excited. They want to do well, and if you're excited too, they're going to think of you while they're going through that day. And then I call them on day 3, because day 3 is when they start to maybe not be excited anymore, because it might be a little harder than they thought, and it's a lot of changes that they're making all at once. Maybe, some of the excitement is going away, but you call them, you get them all excited again, you ask them what's going on, what problems they're having, and then I call after they've had one successful week, and I stay positive, 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 because even if they say some things were difficult, if you just are like, wow, you just got through one whole week of what you committed to do, and look what you did, they're excited about it, and they're ready to go on. And then they really need a follow-up every single week from there. And once they get through their first month, they usually are on such a good track that they're doing okay. We've developed an open relationship where they're going to contact me if they need me. Some people need a little extra care, and I like to follow up with them weekly, maybe for 2 or 3 months, because once they've gotten through their first 90 days, they've had insanely great success, and they're doing awesome. But the support is so important, because there is one girl that I'm working with who's lost over 60 pounds, and the first time that she hit this really big hurdle after vacation, she came home from vacation, she had made her first mistake, she had gained a little bit of weight back. I called her, and she's like, if you hadn't called, I would have quit. And I have a pile of stuff in my pantry of things that I quit. And I was like, wow, those follow-up calls are support calls, and they're important, and that's what retains your customers and lets them know that you care about their journey, not that just they're buying product. So
That's right. You spend a lot of time and effort in attracting that customer. We spent 2 hours on that this morning. So make sure that that time pays off in the time that you spend in supporting them. And Jackie, one of the things I wanted to ask you about is, as you've been coaching and supporting your customers along, what has been maybe the most frequent or most common challenge that they run into, and how have you given them tips around that?
Well, the most common challenge that I've run into is actually my own challenge too. So it was good to, and my mom actually, so we would talk about it, what would help us. So a lot of people have an easy time, like staying focused for breakfast, staying focused for lunch, and then at dinner time when they're home from work and the kids are there and they're maybe cooking something, they get snacky, and it's late at night. And so my mom and I decided to start switching from doing a smoothie dinner to smoothie and lunch, like a lunch meal and then smoothie. And so we started sharing that with other people, and it helped keep their calories more in check because you're not as tempted at lunchtime, and you're replacing what usually is a time that is really difficult. And at first, sometimes it was a hard transition, but you drink your smoothie and you plan your evening to get other things done, spend time with your kids, spend time with your spouse, do some work. So take up knitting, make sure it's something that you have to use your hands.
Yes. Take a walk, get out and walk.
And then I have a nighttime routine that doesn't revolve around food anymore. And so it just seems to work really well for a lot of different people because nighttime and weekends are our hardest time. So maybe switching the smoothie to dinner.
Absolutely. In fact, I heard Kumi Blanco yesterday say that she encourages people to replace their biggest meal, whatever tends to be their biggest meal, which for a lot of us is dinner, to replace that with a smoothie and then move their bigger meal to earlier in the day when they're going to burn it off, more than likely. So that's a great, great suggestion. I want to go through just a few slides, and again, remember, you're going to get all of these. Dr. Jamie, why don't you talk about the product support hotline?
Absolutely. So we've launched just this past 6 or 8 months a dedicated full-time product support team. So the number is there. It's close to the field support number, but it's 3638 on the end as opposed to 3636. And this is the dedicated bilingual team, Spanish speaking as well, that can answer any product questions, reports directly into my organization. And so they're well-trained, well-supported. Torrance Rogers manages them. Many of you know, he's been around for a long time in Shaklee, I think 12, 13 years. And so they, any kind of questions with any kind of products, not just Shaklee180, obviously, but any questions you have at all, they can answer the questions. And they're working from 8:30 to 5:30, Monday through Friday.
And again, that number is 925-734-3638. 925-734-3638. I forgot to mention something I wanted to tag on with what Jackie said. As a mom, I know what it feels like to prepare dinner for your family, and you have that dilemma of, well, what am I going to eat for dinner? Well, I found, like she said, if I had a smoothie or a bar before I started preparing dinner, then it would take the edge off my hunger. When I'm hungry, I don't think very clearly. I'm just hungry, and I don't make good choices. So put yourself in a position to be successful, to make good choices. And then what I would do is take whatever I prepared for dinner for my family, which I thought was great and wanted to eat, I'd prepare a portion-controlled size for me to have for lunch as my meal the next day. So I got to enjoy it as well. But that's another tip that we found works well. Let me go through some of the welcome initiatives that we provide as a company on your behalf to help support your customers in their goals and in their journey for results. First of all, on day 1 of ordering one of the turnaround or lean and healthy kits, we provide a welcome email. It looks like this. It's a reminder to that customer to log on and activate their Shaklee180 app for full support, and it gives a testimonial for more motivation and reminder that the program works. Day 3, this is really cool too, that you may not be aware of. Day 3, we provide an email of what's in your box, because by day 3, they should have received their kit, and they're probably opening up their box or going through their box. So this email has a video of opening up your box together with Dr. Jamie McManus. And who wouldn't want a doctor there? Who wouldn't want a doctor there to walk through what to expect and what they received in their kit and in their box? Again, it encourages them to go online and activate their Shaklee180 app because, again, paying attention to what they're eating and being active and being part of that process will also help them be more successful and effective in achieving their results. Now, this is a really super cool campaign that you may not be aware of, and Kathy Keating and I were talking about it a little earlier this morning. We're going to send out another reminder to all of you so that you know about this and you can see what your customers are getting. There's a campaign that our incredible team has developed for the turnaround kit and for the lean and healthy kit. For the turnaround kit, a campaign means they receive a weekly email called Turnaround Talk. For the Lean and Healthy Kit, because they don't have really as aggressive weight loss goals, they receive it every other week. So there's a turnaround one weekly and Lean and Healthy every other week. And the content in these weekly emails are tips and videos from Dr. Jamie and from our health sciences team on how to be most effective in working towards their results. For example, one of my all-time favorite ones is Supermarket Survival. And it gives them some suggestions of how to be able to shop wisely and smartly for what their new goals are to be able to achieve them. So we've got all of that content where you can see it and you'll know what your customers are receiving. But just know when you enroll a customer on a turnaround kit or a Lean and Healthy kit, they're going to get this follow-up from Dr. Jamie and from her team.
And one more comment about that. So we actually have 2 different streams of emails for the Lean and Healthy. So the turnarounds every week, as Laura said, because that, everybody needs a little extra support along with the phone calls that are coming that personally engage you and it makes you feel supported. But we also are giving you really good tips and information, 1 video clip and 1 written article. So whatever you like to do, you can save them, rewatch them, etc. On the Lean and Healthy, it's 2 different audiences, right? You have someone who starts out with the Lean and Healthy kit because they're lean and healthy and they want to get leaner and healthier. So we have that stream that's a little more oriented towards health and supporting vitalizer nutrients and explaining all that. And then the Lean and Healthy transition folks that are transitioning from a turnaround kit to Lean and Healthy, our system is smart enough to know that, and they get a different email campaign that is actually a little bit more about what you need to do to keep that weight off. And again, part of that the whole story of the 90 plus 90 is, not only helping you lose the weight, but helping you learn how to keep it off. A really robust support system along with a mobile app and the online, all the other things, and the personal support to allow everyone to have the very best results possible with our Shaklee180.
And along the lines of personal support, I'm just going to show you a quick glimpse here at what those calls might look like. And again, we have this information for you available online in the My Shaklee180 Tools section, but we also send this PowerPoint to you too. As Jackie mentioned, day 3, when they're getting their kit, make sure you give them a call and check in with them that they got their kit, that they got the email from Dr. Jamie, which walks through the kit with them, answer any questions, encourage them to get logged into their app. And as Jackie shared earlier, we encourage you to call your customer each week thereafter, especially for the first month. And depending on how they're doing with the program, you may continue calling them each week for the first 2 to 3 months. You might just do a friendly check-in, encourage them with some turnaround tips. Ask them, have they been getting the turnaround talk email and how that's going for them. Reinforce for them. Remember, like I shared with you in my own personal story, reinforce for them this program is designed to change their shape. It's designed to help them lose the fat and retain muscle, which means if they're only looking at the scale as a measurement of their success, they may be disappointed and not looking at it the right way. So encourage them, especially in the first month, that that's not the best measurement of success for them, especially to have an after. And offer to set up a 3 for free party for them would be a good time as you're talking to them in that first month about how they can start getting their kit for free and who else do they know. Of course, within the second month, we encourage that you talk with them about, learn from them, ask them questions that can help you be able to introduce them to other products that Shaklee has to offer. You might, depending on where they are with their results, be transitioning them to a Lean and Healthy kit. We will be sending you their lifestyle questionnaire feedback so that you can use that to say, hey, I noticed that you expressed interest in joint health, or whatever they may have responded to on that program. And again, the 90-day follow-up. 90-day follow-up, you might want to schedule at the completion of 90 days a one-on-one with them to really talk with them about the rest of what Shaklee has to offer and what's next for them. Should they be getting into the Lean and Healthy kit, or do they continue on with the turnaround kit? So you might want to schedule that time for them. And of course, we encourage, as you know, this is a relationship business and we want you to have a relationship for life with them. I'm going to bring up a couple of more members of our team. First, let's give a round of applause to Dr. Jamie McManus and Jackie. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Joining me back on the stage is the lovely Christina Goebel and also Ray Chalom. Ray, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having us back momentarily.
Can they actually hear me this time?
Yes. Yes.
working.
Hi. So we're back. Very briefly. Just to touch on support again, don't want to repeat what Laura had said, but we do have a number of support tools, and our goal that Christine and I have is not only to make you successful, but to Jackie's point, it's also to make our customers successful. And so we do have the multiple CRM streams that we do send out. We are going to be posting, if they're not posted, online for everyone to view, so you can see exactly what your customers are getting, so you can better react to questions or comments that they actually may have. Yay! So today I've got a theme, and my theme is the number 2. So earlier I told you about the pre-party site and the enrollment site. Laura and Roger did a wonderful job of promoting the mobile app. But what we haven't shared with you, and a lot of people have actually found it on their own, is if you do not have a smartphone, you do not have an iPhone, you do not have an Android, or you're not that familiar, or not that comfortable, luckily for you, you can now actually go onto My Shaklee, click on the My 180 tab, and you've got complete access to pretty much the exact same tool that's on the mobile app. You can do all the same level of tracking, and the beauty of the website is it's probably a little bit easier to see. And you can share out the recipes, the turnaround tips. You can post them on Facebook, on Twitter. You do not need to be a Shaklee customer and be able to view them, which is awesome. So it's actually a great prospecting tool that we built. Now, one other thing that you can do from both the mobile app as well as the My 180 tab is to join the Healthy Competition. We've structured the program that we've included a lot of elements that are meant to encourage our customers to strive to achieve their weight loss goals. There's the weekly prizes that you can win. In addition, just want to remind you that there is a healthy competition. For those that attended the general session, you had the pleasure of seeing our 6 winners who joined us in Nashville, which was amazing. And we're going to continue doing that. The next round is in October. The trip is to San Francisco, and we do have the ultimate prize, which is Paris, coming up in 2014. One other thing, great, who does not want to go to Paris? Get on that. One other thing I'm going to briefly touch on again is the lifestyle score. Again, just like Laura said, the lifestyle questions are actually located both on the app as well as My 180. The objective behind these is to find out a little bit more about our customers and their interests so that we can do a better job in cross-selling them to other brands within Shaklee, like healthy nutrition. So we're really helping you guys out, and Christina is actually going to tell you exactly where you'd be able to find out what their answers were and how they actually scored. So with that said, it's all you.
So that score is super useful for them to see that it's not just about weight loss, it's about getting healthy overall. And that's an entree for you, because that information, their top 3 interests based on that life skill score, is now going to be published on My Shaklee. You can see that now for anyone who's taken this score early on in the program. Their top 3 interests will show up on their contact details. So this is an example of our new contact details page. So when you click on someone's name, you'll get a page that looks like this, and all of their information, their contact information is right there. If you open the My Shaklee tab within there, and you can see their updated scores. So if they've taken it more than once, you can see them improving, and you can congratulate them on increased lifestyle score. And you'll also see a list of the emails that we will be sending them so that you can be aligned with what corporate is sending them as well. So my theme for today is the My Shaklee My Business Dashboard. We are using this dashboard to push to you all the information you need to make your business grow today. You don't have to dig too deeply into My Shaklee to find what you need. If you start right here, we have a lot of new information showing up on this page, including your leads, like I talked about earlier, including some new prompts you'll be seeing, including follow-up opportunities. This has been something lingering on here, and we haven't used it a whole lot, but we've released 9 new information points that'll be coming to you. And these are all great reasons to reach out to your customers on a regular basis, either congratulating them or following up. If they haven't reordered their kit, as we heard earlier, it's super important. If we'll be telling you right here, this person has not reordered their kit, call them. Was it 73% was that number? 72% of the people who did not reorder would have reordered if you call them. So watch for your follow-ups right here, and we will prompt you for that. And then most importantly, for your new specialists, we have a brand new Getting Started page. When they log into My Shaklee for the very first time, we have a very new laid out page for them that's going to tell them exactly what to do. Schedule your first party, set up your PWS, and learn about these new tools. So they'll get off to a super positive and quick start. So thank you and enjoy your lunch.
Thank you. Now I'm going to ask to come back up to the stage and join us to hear a little bit more about what's going on with social media and how you can use that to follow up. Please welcome Summer Paquette and her panel.
All right, who's hungry? Okay, we are going to cruise through this for you because we know you're hungry, but we also know it's really important. So let's get to the nitty-gritty. Today I have with me Suni Ferreira, and she actually left her full-time job as an architect engineer to build her Shaklee business, and she is doing a great job. So she uses blogging, Pinterest, and social media to follow up with her potential customers, her current customers, her members, and anybody and everybody that she reaches out to. And whatever blogging platform you're going to use, she uses her blog and her images. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you blog and your images and how you use those in your follow-up process?
Thank you very much. Now, I want to first of all say that social media is so powerful. Like, how many people here have heard my name, Suni Ferrer, just from social media? Raise your hand. That's a lot of people. It blows my mind. Okay, so I use my blog. I set it up really quickly, like over 2 weeks, and now I only spend just a couple hours every couple weeks, so I don't spend a lot of time on it. And the way I save time setting up my blog post is on my phone. I have an app, and I just write a draft of my idea, and I publish it, and I don't worry about if it looks pretty or not. I can always go back and edit it later. So that's how I save time. And on my phone, for images, my tips to you would be just to use your phone and take pictures and then crop them to make them square, because that will look better on Facebook and most of Pinterest and everything else, and make sure that it's at least 300 pixels so that it doesn't look blurry. But even if it's blurry, people love your own pictures first. If you don't have your own pictures, you can always Google them and find some pictures that are not copyrighted so you don't get in trouble.
Thank you. And you know what I love about this is when she meets a potential prospect or a customer or someone's come to her Shaklee180 party, she can provide them with their social media links and say, hey, I'm providing you with a new recipe on my blog that I've made, or I'm going to share my hike up the mountain with my family, and it inspires your prospects and your members. And you also do a really great job of using Pinterest. And I found Suni through Pinterest, actually, because you sprinkle a little bit of what you love, your hobbies, but also Shaklee180. And so how has this helped you in prospecting and meeting new people, but following up?
Well, actually, on Pinterest, I didn't even get involved in Pinterest until the last conference in Vegas when Lee Bordelon invited us to make my why board. And I started using it like 15 minutes a day, and I started adding pictures and boards and always choosing the most appealing, positive images I could, beautiful things that inspire myself and I thought would inspire others, but the first one is my why, so I always see that first. So it inspires me, it inspires others. Now, I have a friend who found me on Pinterest. We studied architecture together in Puerto Rico, where I grew up. And 17 years passed, and I hadn't heard from her. And she said, Suni, I found you on Pinterest, and I read your profile. Just a couple sentences that said how I left my stressful career behind, and I have 2 boys. She's a busy mother of twins. She's a civil engineer, and she is also so stressed out. Well, now she's a Vitalizer and AutoShip customer. So just from Pinterest, she found me.
That is an awesome, awesome example and very inspiring. So everyone's going to go and get on Pinterest now. Good. Now, If you follow Suni on Facebook, you know that she does a lot of challenges. Challenges on let's drink so many ounces of water, let's do how many thousand steps today. And it's very inspiring. So this is one way that when she has a new member or customer, she follows up with them and says, make sure you join this week's challenge. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, a few months ago, I decided that my husband tells me I spend way too much time on Facebook, first of all.
Anyone else hear that?
I wanted to prove to him that Facebook and social media is actually a real productive tool. So I'm going to use Facebook to make some changes for myself. And then I decided to invite other people to join me in these little small steps. Every challenge is just a tiny baby step towards healthier me. And I'm just saying, I'm doing this, you want to do it with me. And I don't just open it to people who I want them to be my clients. I open it to all of you. Everybody who has a Shaklee business, it doesn't matter what group they belong to, they're invited to all my challenges. You just go to my page on Facebook, Sunirvana Wellness, and you click on the events tab and check what's the next challenge. You can join my challenge, you can invite all your groups to your own challenges. In fact, I have heard from people here during this conference that they've told me that their business has grown because they've invited their customers to my challenges. So
awesome. Great job.
And something else, Roger Barnett asked me to invite him to my next challenge as well.
All right.
Awesome?
I want to see how he does. Thank you so much,
you.
Suni. And we really appreciate you sharing your success stories. Thank you. All right. All right, so next up we have Lauren Napoli, and you know what? She is been in Shaklee since 2011. She's a fast-track business builder and a mom of 3, so she's pretty darn busy. And she has some great examples on how she uses Facebook. And what I really like about her examples is she really does a great job of connecting people from her business page, but her personal page, but also her husband helps out. And so I love this, that there is a way for your hubbies to help you, your partners in crime to help you build your business using social media.
So I just want to say Suni is one of my biggest Facebook inspirations. It's an honor to be here with her. But Facebook has been amazing for my business. I always incorporate Shaklee into my everyday life, so naturally Facebook would follow suit. But I always put posts, you know, a little bit of my personal life and a little bit of Shaklee on there as well. And my husband is amazing, and he always uses his personal page as well to kind of tell the world how proud he is of me, which is a great feeling, but that has attracted a lot of interest into what we do.
Absolutely. And you know what's so great is that when you post something and you have somebody attend one of your Shaklee180 parties or you meet them on Facebook, they can see this every day that, okay, this is someone who is living a healthy lifestyle. This is someone that I want to partner with, and even if they're just a prospect or a potential person that you've met, when they friend you and they follow your page, they're really inspired by you. So that's great. Now, can you give us another example? And let's go to the next slide. Okay, I love this picture of all of you, but what you do, maybe 2 examples of what you do every day on Facebook to follow up and maybe creating a private group, which I know that you've done, to really inspire your members and prospects.
Okay. So basically, we encourage post sharing on our team, and this collage of these hot Shaklee180 mamas that was created by the beautiful Heather Hirsch. When I posted that picture, my inbox was flooded. Oh my gosh, tell me more, tell me more. And it's just, you know, using Facebook as a tool to open up that belly-to-belly conversation. So I always try to take it offline. I get their interest, and I always try to create that pull magnetism for people coming to me and wanting to know more versus, hey, buy my product, you know. It's just like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? What are your friends doing? And make it a whole kind of community, as was talked about before. So I think that really helps.
Great. Thank you very much. And so that's how you can use social media in the follow-up process when you meet somebody. And I know for you, you've told me that you oftentimes will meet somebody on Facebook, and a lot of things happen via direct message. So you have that one-on-one personal back and forth direct message, and then it leads to a phone call, and then it might lead to an in-person meeting or to a Shaklee180 party. So you really work that process. Thank you very much. Let's give her a round of applause. Awesome. All right, who's up next? They're hungry.
Thank you for sticking with us, everybody. I know we've got so much great content that we're sharing with all of you, and everybody keeps asking, will it be available? Yes, we will make the PowerPoints available to you, but this is just the beginning of all the wonderful training that we promise you going forward. But let me just tell you, we're not done yet, and for those of you that stay with us, we know we're running a little bit over. We're going to do something really fun and crazy at the end where you're going to get a chance to win some Shaklee merchandise. So we're ambitious, but we think we can pull it off. But without any further ado, I was told about a very special lady at Shaklee, and I will tell you, I've endeared myself to her that much more in the last 10 minutes because she's very special in what she just shared with me. But we have two of our leaders, Kathy Minsky, our Master Coordinator, and Renee Van Heel, our Executive Coordinator, that have had great success with Shaklee180. And I'd like them to come up here and share with you how they have developed their teams and how they have really kept the parties going within their team. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Kathy Minsky and Renee Van Heel.
Yeah, totally fine, honey. Thank you. All right. All right. Can you hear me okay? All right. I know you guys have been sitting a very long time, so thank you for your patience. I think some of this information will be worth it to you. I don't know about you, but I'm about full up to here. I want to go home and put some of this stuff into action. So there's a lot of excitement here. You know, one of the things that I love to share this part of my story, particularly here at annual conferences, you come, and particularly we're talking about a lot of the products right now of Shaklee. I love to let people know that 17 years ago, when I was introduced, first of all, to network marketing, I had been a Shaklee customer for over 20 years. Not one time in 20 years, even though I referred customers, all of that time, did anyone ever bother to tell me that there was an income opportunity. So when I was looking for one, I joined another company. I went to the top of that company. I made a lot of money in that company. And it's just saddened me through the course of those years as I was working in another business that I found out that Shaklee was a network marketing company as well. And so some circumstances changed in my life. I had the opportunity to go and take another look at Shaklee from a very different perspective. And I want you to know that our team came to Shaklee in 2004. We actually beat a record of 56 years. We became Master Coordinator in 1 month. And 3 months later, we were Master Coordinator and have held that title for over 8 years. So I'm very excited to share that with you, but more from the idea of letting you know that whatever you do, always make sure that at some point along the way, you've told the whole story to every person. Now, I have a question I want to ask you. How many of you guys got up and exercised early Friday morning with Harley Pasternak? Wow! Now, how many of you guys stayed with him the whole time? All right. How many of you struggled? All right, lots of hands, a big answer. I guess I should ask this last question. How many of you just got up early so you could see Harley Pasternak for 25 minutes? Okay? Because that was probably what really happened. But I just am so excited about what is going on here. And think about that is exercise. Shaklee's a lot like that. Some people that have been working every single week, some people that have been exercising every week, doing their parties, doing events and doing things, it's very natural for them. That's why you're seeing people who come up here and you go, oh my gosh, these people are amazing. Well, it's because they've been exercising their Shaklee180 parties every single week, and that's what you and I need to do. I want to really quickly just tell you my 180 story, and then I'm going to introduce Renee to you to hear her story as well. About 4 years ago, I really had never had a weight problem in my life, but about 4 years ago, my husband had surgery, and then he had 3 strokes. And being the primary caregiver, I was kind of sitting around a lot, you know, taking care of him, not taking care of myself, working my business, but not really working at it so much. And yet Shaklee continued to pay me every single month of those 4 years. But the one thing that happened to me that was very negative, as my husband started to heal and kind of get out and was doing things, one morning he got on the scale. And he out loud said, "Oh, I weigh a number." I'll tell you this for a reason. And I went, "That's what I weigh." Same number. I was freaked. I was horrified. I was absolutely horrified. I literally went in to my computer, ordered what at that time was Cinch, had it flown overnight to my house, and started on that program in just a couple of days. And I'm telling you, I was freaked out. How many of you have had that experience? It's pretty traumatic. Anyway, so yeah, there's hands going up. I didn't really mean for you to do that, but that's okay. But anyway, the point is, I lost 32 pounds over an 8-month period of time. I've kept it off, which is even better, for about a year. I've still got a few more to go, but you know what? It doesn't even bother me because I know that when I'm ready, I have the products, I have the program, I know exactly what to do. I'm 100% confident that I can get it done. I do want to introduce to you my partner in crime here today. She's been with us from the very beginning of our Shaklee journey. And one of the reasons that I asked her to come up and share with me today, one of the things that we did was we had a Shaklee180 challenge team. We challenged our team, hundreds joined that challenge, to have a 180 party every single week, minimum of 1 for 6 months. And Renee successfully completed that. And so that's somebody who's really committed. So we wanted to ask her to share her 180 story.
Okay. Well, you know, you cannot succeed without a team. So I have a wonderful team. But going back just to my story very quickly, I am 61 pounds healthier with Shaklee. But what's more important, when I got on the scale, I was much more than my husband. But in January, my 3 boys, Cade, Jake, and Brock, they're 18 to 22 years of age, and my husband decided to take the journey with me. So collectively, we have lost 165 pounds. Yeah. And what's really amazing, my husband of 29 years, he is down to his high school weight.
Absolutely. All right, you're going to be hearing from Renee in a minute, but what we want to do is real quickly get to the point of what we were asked to do here, which was keep the parties going. Oh, push forward. All right, so, you know, it's kind of like the exercise that we talked about. You just want to keep on moving forward. Make sure that, you know, think about this. When you watch a movie and you love that movie and you tell somebody about it, you know, a week later, most of the time, you forgot about that movie. You're on to the next new thing, right? Or if you read a book and you get something out of that book and it really affects you and you tell people about it, usually that effect lasts about a week. That's kind of the way it is with a 180 party. You want to make sure that you are constantly rolling forward this same idea of keeping the exercise going, where you are constantly either you're closing out a party, having a party, planning for a new party, and that you have the ability constantly to be in the mode mentally to be thinking about a Shaklee180 party. I try to book every event within 7 days because the new host has all of the fun that we had and all of the good things that we had going on still at the top of her mind. So one of the things we do is we help our team to get really prepared. You see some pictures of, we have each a list of, this is a kit, get a plastic box, you take 1 empty lean and healthy kit, 1 empty transformation kit, and that's your party, and you just fill this stuff out. It's very simple. We do the follow-up. We talked about it a lot, so I won't go into any more. But you do need to make sure that you create this cycle of parties that's going on, because that's exactly what's going to keep your top of the mind on it. Make sure you have a party scheduled every week. If you're not in one, if you're not giving one, find somebody who will do a party for you. I've had a couple of instances where people were severely overweight or just uncomfortable with their weight, did not want to come to a party. Many of you have heard us talk about tastings. I think there was some conversation about it this week. But what we do is we actually just call up somebody and say, look, we'll bring the party to you. You can get together friends, or we'll just do it with you by ourselves. We give them the option because we don't want to bring all the shake stuff and all the stuff. We tell them, do you want peanut butter chocolate, or do you want strawberry banana? And we give them the idea of what's going to go on there so that they start getting excited and think, oh man, this is going to be great. And then we, talk about toffee and chocolate. Oh my gosh. How many of you have had, I've had 6 or 7 of those already. I'm serious. So now I'm going to have to do my Cinch program one more week longer, but anyway, 180 program. So we bring the party to them, but we let them know what we're going to be doing, even with them one-on-one, and that's been a positive thing for us to do. The other thing that I was asked to share with you, we've been recycling our Cinch kits, our shake smoothie cans, and what we've been doing is when someone can't come to an event or we cannot seem to get together with them, one of our team members, Barb and Jeff, they kind of created this 180 day. And so inside of this bag here is some instructions as to how to have a real 180 day. We ask them to do it on a day in which they can have both breakfast, lunch, and snacks with Shaklee180. We give them an after book and a DVD with some instructions as to what to do. And then inside of the can is a shake, a bar, a snack bar, 2 teas, and 3 metabolic boosts. So they're going to experience a 180 day. But we give them good recipes, and so this has been something that's really been successful. My sister in Michigan bought 180 from me just putting this in a little box and sending it to her. And so she didn't have a chance to have a party. She was not anywhere near me. So that worked really well as well. I just believe it's important to, when I initially looked at this industry, I looked at products here, I was shown those products many, many times. Make sure, there are so many people that are saying yes, but just not right now. But if you don't stay with them and you don't keep going on, you need to stay with them till they say no. Until then, it's always a maybe. And that means you still have that responsibility to follow up. And one of the other things we want to do is constantly be sharing success stories. Oh, so-and-so that was at the party last week that you missed. Oh, they've already got their kit. They've already lost a couple pounds. They absolutely love it. We're having shakes. We're having, and you talk about whatever's going on to those prospects. Let them know that others are succeeding. Okay, and now Renee is going to talk about inspiring your team.
Oh, you can hold it. It's only one screen. So, thanks, Kathy. I'm going to use the tool that Jenny Oates said. You just keep smiling when you're nervous and you can make it, fake it till you make it. But it's a pleasure to be here, but I am definitely out of my comfort zone. You guys, working as a team, I want to thank my team because they have made me a better person. And you surround yourself, you surround yourself with people that complement your weaknesses, and it makes it so it's a really, really, really fun thing to do. We live by the philosophy on our team that we will not ask somebody to do anything if we are not willing to do it ourselves. Okay, just yesterday alone, and I have to tell you, really my team inspires me, and I was talking to Kristen and she asked me to do a shout out here because after the workshops yesterday, I had some of my team members that went back to their room, and one person made 4 appointments, another person made another 4 appointments, and another one made 3 appointments for next week. So Chelsea, Melanie, and Jake, stand up, shout out, come on, you guys. Awesome. I mean, how can that not inspire you? And they were sending out, we're having our next tasting next Thursday, and they're sending out invites for next Thursday, doing some follow-up calls. You guys, that's what working as a team is all about. We are there for each other, and we really work on utilizing everybody's gifts and talents. It is so, so important. And we focus on everyone's successes. We ask the question, what did you do last week that moved your business forward? And that's what you need to focus on. Okay, one of the parties that we had, I had 9 people confirmed to come. I'm so excited, so excited. 1 person showed up. Anybody have no-shows? Yeah. Okay. So, to me, I mean, what was the main thing that you're going to do? You're going to focus on the 8 that didn't come. Well, as our team, we don't allow that to happen. You have to focus on, I got one person there. What did I do to get them there? I followed Shaklee's system. So what do I need to do? Just keep doing that again and again and again. You guys, only focus on your successes. If you're focusing on those 8 that didn't come, it's going to freeze you in your footsteps, and you are not going to want to move forward. Please don't allow yourself to do that. Focus on the successes no matter how little. I mean, if nobody would have showed up, I would have focused, well, at least I got some committed. Now I just got to go back and follow the system. So, and don't take things too personal. That is very hard to do. It was very hard for me to do. And I started thinking back, you guys, when I was 17, I was a waitress, and my favorite thing was to go around and pour coffee because I could talk to everybody. So, but how many people said yes? More people said no. So did I go in the back and get all depressed and quit my job? No, because that was my job. You guys, Shaklee is your business. What our job is to invite people to look at all the Shaklee products and find what is good for them. That is all that our job is. So don't take it personal if somebody says no. So with that, Kathy, I'm going to turn it back to you.
Well, we're just talking about celebrating, and that's really what we think is important. You know, it's so easy when you're here and you see, you know, Jen and Nathan and others that get up here. You can identify with them. You see them here. They're very real to you. But when you go home and your team members and new specialists on your team, they haven't shared this experience. So it's so important that you celebrate the success of your own team. People that they know, just like Renee just did right now with a shout out to her team. Because what happens is you're sitting in this audience here and you see, well, they're just like me, I could do that. But that person at home is not having that experience. So what you want to make sure that you're doing is every time somebody gets a free kit, shout it out. Every time somebody loses weight, shout it out. When they, you know, get a Shaklee App Awards, boy, we've had a lot of people do that, and we make a big deal out of that. We make sure that the team knows that. We have locations to do that. So how many parties they did, what the results were, shout it out. You know why? Because they're people that they know. They're people that are on your team calls, your team webinars or something. They're names that are familiar with them. And so what you want to do is make sure you celebrate, because then that person is saying, I know her, I could do that. And that's what you're looking for every time you speak to someone. So celebrate success. All right. Thank you, dear. Okay. When Kathy asked me to talk about this topic, tracking your results, I went, oh my word. How incredibly boring can it get? Anybody agree? But in the same breath, I said, it is the most important thing we need to do to move our business forward. For over 30 years, I have been tracking numbers in business. And I will tell you without a doubt, it is the difference between having a vibrant, successful, fast-moving business where you're making good money versus frustration, not making consistent money. You know, which one do you want? And that is your choice. And I ask people, you know, are you treating Shaklee as a hobby or a business? Every single business out there has a tracking system. Shaklee has a tracking system. I encourage you to learn it. You know, it's going to tell you your benchmarks of what you're doing. Where do you need to grow in your skill set? And there's so much more that tracking brings to the table. And if you're not tracking your business, you're treating it as a hobby. And it totally is a tool for moving forward with your goals. I want to share one tracking system that I used when I very first started. And there's been so much in the workshops and everything on tracking time management. You guys utilize what they said. It's awesome. But this tracking tool I don't believe you'll ever have. It's called my positive no tracking. You guys, when I started in this business, I was petrified to pick up the phone. And I thought, what am I so afraid of? And it was the no's. So my husband sat down with me and he said, you know what? Let's do a positive no. Let's track your no's. If you get to 50 no's, I will give you an all-expense-paid trip, first class to New York. Okay? That's a positive no. So my first year I tracked them, I got up to 38. So I'm getting excited. I only have 12 to go, but this is the criteria. You have to tell the whole story, like Barb Hill said yesterday.
They have to say no to the business, no to the products, and no to referrals. So I got up to 38. I'm going, ooh, yay, I'm 3/4 way there. Well, after my first year, I started getting calls from those 38 people that said no. So I had a girlfriend that was pregnant. She goes, Renee, I hear you did this so you could be home with your kids. Can you share it with me? She joined. So now I'm down to 37. Okay? So then the next one called, her son. She was number 5 on my list. My best friend would not even do anything for me in Shaklee. A year later, she says, my son is in college. He's always sick. What's that Nutriferon stuff? So now I'm down to 36. Okay, you guys, and the whole point to this story, when Shaklee180 came out, I went back to all those people. This is an awesome program to be able to introduce Shaklee to them. My 38 are now under 15 because of Shaklee180. So I truly believe I am going to get to my 50, I'm going to have to be a senior master coordinator. But you guys, you know, how to track results. Shaklee has these tools in place. Utilize them, treat it as a business, and you will make very, very serious money. I am here to prove that. Thank you.
Excellent.
Back to you, Kathy.
So what I want to do is just challenge you. Come back here next year. Maybe you lost that little extra that you just haven't kind of done. That's that story that everyone's talking about. And then I challenge you to next year, be in the front of the row on Harley's morning workout. I know you're going to be excited about doing that. Thank you so much for your time. We so appreciate your hanging around today. I know there's a little bit more left to go, but make use of this. Go home if you just have to take a few things. Don't try to, eat the elephant all at one time. A bite at a time. Just take it and make sure that you begin to apply what you learned here today and do it right away. That's when you're going to get the results. So thanks a lot.
You just gotta ignite the light and let it shine.
Thank you very much. And one thing that I want to thank, of course, Kathy Minsky very much and Renee for sharing what they did. And we want to talk a little bit, really. Thank you very much. Okay, let me get myself back on track here. And you've all been so wonderful at, at supporting us. But the role of a specialist is something that I just briefly want to just talk about for a second because I know it's a fairly new role. And the Shaklee180 specialists are doing so very well. And we have a young lady here with us today that we're so proud of. I think she made, well, I'll let her tell you when she comes out. But I can't resist telling everybody she's 26 years old. She is part of Rick and Aldana's team. And I met her, exactly. I met Jen Chavez about 2 months ago when I was out in the field. And when I learned that she was getting ready to quit her day job at 26 years old, all I could say was, wow. So come on out, Jen Chavez.
Your heart will glow, and when it's time to know, you just gotta ignite the light.
Good afternoon. I'm so excited to be here and feel so honored to share the stage with so many great leaders in Shaklee. I did just quit my day job on June 7th, 2013. And that was huge. That was my big goal when I signed up with Shaklee in 2010. So that's been something that I've been working towards, and it was like my first big milestone. And so things that I did to get there, some tips on ways to be successful. I did not do fast track.
Tell us how you did your after, because I thought it was very compelling. Your story.
Yeah. Okay. So I committed time each week. I knew that I had about 5 to 10 hours a week that I could put to Shaklee with my current work schedule and commuting and everything. And that's what I committed to every week for the last 2 years. And what really changed was 180. This time last year at conference, I was a senior director, and there was 3 of us here, and I was put down that I was going to have 10 people here this year, and I was really going to grow my business. And we ended up, my team here is 9, so that's awesome. I'm so excited.
And Jen, tell us what you did in May. I mean, I'd love your chronology there of everybody to understand.
So started as a Shaklee baby, and I got my first job, and it was at a call center. So I don't know if any of you have done that, but it was very inspiring to leave. So I called up my neighbor Pansy in May of 2010, and I said, hey, I want to do Shaklee. And I jumped in, I got started, went to senior director, and then I just plateaued. I just couldn't get forward. I couldn't get to where I wanted to be. And when we heard about Shaklee180 launching, I got so excited. And I was like, this is what's going to get me to where I need to go. And so in January, I really buckled down and really put my focus into Shaklee180. And I've broken out 2 directors since then.
She broke out 2 directors in February and May. Okay, this past May.
And promoted to senior coordinator on Friday. So that was exciting.
I like the way she skims over that. She just became senior coordinator on Friday.
So that was very exciting. Our team is just multiplying so quickly. And as I said in the video the other day, it's almost like I can't keep up. And just the simplicity and how easy it is to duplicate this process has really been what's made it possible. One of my directors is out of state. I have another new builder that's going to be a director in August that's here. And just being able to have the DVD and following the tools and doing the party, just like we watched earlier, it's simple and people can do that and they can do it anywhere and they can learn it anywhere.
All right. So we have a young lady here at 26 years old who quit her day job and became a full-time Shaklee180 specialist so she could devote herself to building the business. So congratulations. And speaking of, and just a couple of quick things. Oh, I'm so sorry we didn't get to show this, but we have, you can see here, Jen Chavez actually has a wonderful blog that if you'd like, oh, sorry. Jen has a blog if you'd like to follow, but it's all about being in her 20s and quitting her day job, so I thought it was fabulous. And you can see here some wonderful photos of Jen when she was at the Global Conference and also at the New Directors Conference. So looks like we have a superstar on our hands. As far as Shaklee180 specialists, just a couple of quick things that we're going to be doing to further support the specialist. We've got the new startup guide, we've got the new DVD, but we're going to start welcome calls. So when a new Shaklee180 specialist joins, they will receive a welcome call from the company. So I just want you to see that we're making some initiatives here to really build a community of Shaklee180 specialists because we recognize it's all about a community. And to that, we will be having live weekly webinars for new Shaklee180 specialists so that they can call in. And it'll be Lee, Borderline, and myself, and we will live be taking them through the website and everything that they need to do to get started and be successful. So we hope you're happy about that. Okay, great. And the only thing I want to say, because I know everybody is very anxious to move forward, and I just, from the bottom of my heart, just want to say thank you. And we want to do something that's a little ambitious and fun to recap the day, but for your patience in staying with us to the end of the day, we'd like to do a fun little activity where we're going to ask a couple of quick questions and have you participate. And before we even do that, the first question that I'd like to ask is, as we sit here together, how many of you feel that you really can commit to booking your first Shaklee180 party? Great. Okay. 1 week from today. I just would love to see some hands. If you really feel like you can commit and give a date, and be honest with yourself. For those of you that can just stand up, if you feel that you can commit and give us a date, we're talking 1 week from today. Okay. Great. So let's leave it at, those people just stand. Okay, you sure? It's going to be 1 week from today. We're being honest with ourselves. Great. Okay, great. So we have some little presents that we want to run out. Just stay standing. And we've got little elves. They're fast on their feet. I think we've got little runners that are going to run around and give you a little something from Shaklee to say thank you. And while they're running around and doing that, do we have all hands on deck to make that happen? I told you this was ambitious, but it was a little way of saying thank you. It's a Shaklee logoed item that we want you to take back with you. Okay? And while we're doing that, we have our runners, please, giving out. We need lots of people out here running around. I think my friend Peter is going to help us. Okay, great. And then I've got Kevin. Where's Kevin?
I'm in the middle.
Okay, great. We'd like to ask another question. when Jen and Nathan were giving their party, how many of you could truly tell me how they identified who the customers were at the Shaklee180 party? I actually saw the beautiful lady right up front with the white pants, who I think happens to be. Great, okay. Could you, Kevin, great, you're fast, Kevin.
Hello. I'm Maria, and I'm from Virginia Beach.
Okay.
And
how did we identify who was most interested in being a customer earlier on in the process?
Nathan went up to his fellow fat guy and said, "What are you interested in?"
That's true. That's true. He did do that. He got their agenda.
Yes.
But does anybody remember, in addition to that, something else that was done?
Yes.
You got to get Kevin's attention. Kevin's the guy with the microphone. Kevin, you got somebody behind you waving her hands. Yeah, he didn't turn around. Okay.
They gave out the application.
They gave out the application, exactly. And they didn't really call it an application, did they? They called it like a reference. But it helped them to identify who was more interested in using the product just as a customer. Great. Another question. How can we determine what are the 3 different types of customers that we want to wrap up at the end? What 3 different types might we find at the... Oh, I got it right here, Kevin. Great. Okay, everybody's helping get
I think everybody's already helping themselves.
Okay. My friend with the mic, great.
Where are we at?
Right, the gentleman right here, great. Repeat it again. Okay, how do we identify the 3 different types of customers from the party?
Okay, but
Person that wants to use
the way
it.
they actually fill the application.
Right.
One actually say, I want to know the product.
Right.
The other one actually know how to get the product free.
Perfect.
And the other one actually wanted to build the business.
Great, so you've got somebody that wants to use the products, that wants to share the products, or wants to earn money with the products. Great, thank you. So please see our runners and our helpers on your way out if you didn't receive your special gift for committing to booking a party. We also want to make an announcement that the general session will be starting at 2:30 today, and that if you would be kind enough to be dressed and be prepared to continue on partying downtown Nashville from that point on. So thank you very much, Shaklee family, for being so patient and wonderful. There was a lot of content. It will all be available to you online. And I have a special announcement, I think. Oh, I was just told by a Shaklee family member that cares that it's raining outside, so you might want to grab an umbrella. So it's raining Shaklee180. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.